Pokemon has printed a lot of sets over the past 25 years. Some are absolutely incredible, and some are forgettable. Some completely changed the game. By the end of this video, you will know the top 10 sets that shaped the Pokemon TCG into what it is today. I really wish I had some of these sets. Alright, kicking off the list at number 10, we've got the last set of the Black and White era, Legendary Treasures. Now here's the thing. On the surface, this set looks totally normal. It's just another expansion, right? But as soon as you open a pack, you realize things are totally different. Legendary Treasures had the Radiant Collection, which was basically a mini set inside of the larger set. You had glitter foils, heart patterns, sparkly Pokemon, but these cards didn't just look different. They truly felt different. And here's something that's absolutely wild. These packs were stacked. You could pull an EX card, a Radiant Collection card, and a full art card all in the same pack. No way, Chris, that's crazy. No way. These loaded packs came after years of sets where it felt like you were way lucky to get a hit in a box. But the reason why this set makes the list isn't because it was just fun to open. It's based on when this set came out and what it did. 2013 was a critical moment for Pokemon collectors. Pokemon cards were no longer really making the headlines like they used to be. The Black and White era had some really cool stuff, but it wasn't anything super special and memorable. The TCG was holding pretty steady, but nothing wild. Collectors were drifting away. The hobby was just in a really weird place at this time. Legendary Treasures dropped like a reset button for the hobby. It reminded everybody that Pokemon could really still surprise you with the Radiant Collection, and this set took us right into the X and Y era, which brought in Mega Evolutions. So what should you really be looking for if you ever come across this set? Well, you've got Pikachu, of course, and there's that Mew EX, which was a really beautiful card and very playable. And you may be familiar with the Black and White Reshiram and Zekrom from the most recent sets that have come out in the Scarlet Violet era. But back then, in 2013, Zekrom and Reshiram were actually gold cards. These were some of the earliest gold cards in the hobby, and they kind of set the tone for a lot of the full arts and the secret rares that we chase still today. Legendary Treasures is a set that was often overlooked, but the more you look at this set, the more you realize this was a spark that Pokemon needed at a time that was very crucial for the hobby. And if Legendary Treasures was a reminder that Pokemon still had life to it, this next set absolutely blew the doors off and reignited the hobby to what it is today. Number 9 on our list is Hidden Fates, and let me tell you, this set is absolutely ridiculous. Picture this. It's 2019, you're walking through Walmart and you turn the corner and see the wall of Pokemon cards. You grab this shiny Gyarados tin and then you open up a pack and bam! You just come in contact with the shiny vault. This was a set that made people feel like kids again. It was like whenever we used to line up outside of Toys R Us waiting for the next set to come out. GameStop had people lining up around the corner, Walmart, all that good stuff. Boxes were vanishing in minutes, tins were going out. Is almost like a precursor for today. And the star of the show, Shiny Charizard.
Eevee Atkins.
This card absolutely broke the internet. People were pulling it, grading it, selling it for insane prices. It is the quintessential chase card. But here's the crazy thing. This set came out before the 2020 COVID Pokemon boom, before Logan Paul cracked his base set box, and before scalpers just went absolutely wild. This was a precursor. Hidden Fates was already quietly building the fire that we still see today. I've already mentioned the Charizard, but we also had the Umbreon GX, and we had like the baby shinies, the Charmander and Eevee. The whole shiny vault was almost like a side quest within the main set. It was absolutely fun for collectors. Pokemon actually even had to reprint this set multiple times because people just wouldn't stop. buying it. I wonder if they'll do that for Phantasmal Flames. Doubt it. Number 8 on our list is Team Rocket. Released in 2000, it was at the height of Pokemania.
To start us off tonight, NBC News correspondent Colleen Dominguez on the craze that has now hit Hollywood.
More than a game.
Anybody know how to play this, how to get to the next level?
Or a top-rated TV show, Pokémon is an undeniable obsession with children across the country.
Here's why this set was a game changer. Up until this point, Pokemon cards were bright and cheery and joyful and very happy. It was wholesome, but Team Rocket completely flipped the script. This was the first time that we saw dark Pokemon, and when you cracked a pack and saw these for the first time, you didn't know what you were even getting into. It was like playground chaos. You had Dark Charizard, Dark Blastoise, Dark Dragonite. These were like edgier, more sinister versions of fan favorites. And for a 10-year-old kid in the 2000s, this was the coolest thing ever. The hobby at this point in time was absolutely insane. Cards were banned from schools, parents could not keep up with demand, and Pokemon was everywhere. TV, video games, Happy Meals. Then this set came along at a time when people were already struggling with Pokemon, and then it said, yeah, Pokemon can be kind of rebellious too. Here's a Dark Blastoise for you. Even the booster packs looked totally different. They were dark with a big red R. They just felt different. When you saw one of these packs in the store, it almost felt, dare I say, dangerous. Some of the key cards are the Dark Charizard, obviously, but one thing that people don't realize is at that time, a lot of people preferred the Dark Charizard over even the base set Charizard, which is kind of wild to think of right now. But it's because of the artwork. It was so invigorating. There's also the Dark Dragonite, which had holo and non-holo versions, which tripped up us kids back then. We had no idea what we were doing. And also one of the most recognizable trainer cards to date, which was Rocket's Sneak Attack. There is a reason why this set was so loved, and there's a reason why people were so excited when Destined Rivals came out. It was, especially people like me, it was almost like getting to relive that experience again after 25 years. Here's a little fun fact. Team Rocket was actually the first set to have a secret rare. And it was the Dark Raichu, 83 out of 82. Now this, let me tell you, it caused some confusion on the playgrounds. Kids definitely thought this was a fake card because the number was not in any kind of potential. It wasn't right. The number just wasn't right. And man, what those kids would think today if they saw the secret rares that are in the sets coming out now. Team Rocket showed us that Pokemon could be dark, mysterious, and maybe even a little mischievous. And that was a lot of fun back then, and still fun today if you can find this set. Unfortunately for Deep Pocket Monster, he cannot apparently defeat this set. Sorry bro, had to have a little shout out. And since Team Rocket introduced the rebellious side of Pokemon, this next set introduced a whole new list of Pokemon for the first time from the Johto region. Number 7 on our list is Neo Genesis. This set was released in December of 2000 and set the world on fire. And this one marked a whole new chapter of the Pokemon world. And here's why. For the first time since Pokemon was released, we were leaving the Kanto region and going into a whole new region, Johto. And not only did we go to a new region, it brought in a number of new Pokemon for the first time. Pokemon Gold and Silver had just released on the Game Boy, and Neo Genesis were bringing the Pokemon from these games to cardboard format. We were introduced to Totodile, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and of course, Lugia. That Lugia holo is absolutely the crown jewel of this set. It is one of the most sought after cards still today. Some people would even venture to say that it was the Charizard of the Johto region, which I don't know if that's fair. I actually like the fact that Lugia is its own thing. Much cooler than Charizard in my opinion. The artwork of this card was unrivaled. the swirls, the hollow pattern. One of these graded goes for some huge money. Actually, probably raw too. But Neo Genesis didn't just bring in cool Pokemon like Lugia. It also brought in baby Pokemon for the first time, like Cleffa and Electakid. With a coin flip, these baby Pokemon could literally shut down a move of your opponent, which was groundbreaking at the time. And we need to remember, the timing here was perfect. By late 2000, Pokemon wasn't just a fad anymore. It was proving itself that it could go beyond the first original 151. It was evolving, the cards were evolving just like the games. Fun fact time, some of the early printings of Typhlosion, number 17 in this set, were a little bit off-center. A lot of them were, actually. These were some early printing quirks that make these cards exceptionally valuable for collectors. And since Neo Genesis was a set that defined a new era of Pokemon, this next set would be called the darling of the modern era. Number 6 on the list is Evolving Skies, which was released in 2021. And let's be honest, everybody wants their hands on this set. It's infamous. Some collectors not me, I'm not saying I say this, but some collectors say it's the alt art king of all sets. I mean, how could it not be? We all know this Umbreon. Is it on screen? Is it on screen? Okay, there it is. Okay, cool. There's also the Rayquaza VMAX. Rayquaza? I just saw a video recently that talks about how to actually say the name, and now I can't remember what it is. I think it's Rayquaza, because I felt like it was weird. Anyways, the artwork in this set is unreal. Absolutely unreal. But here's the catch. The pull rates in this set, absolutely brutal. The set actually has the nickname Evolving Cries, obviously because it makes people cry because they don't pull anything that they actually ever want, and it's a terrible set to actually buy. No, it's great. It's great. It's great. And once again, timing is everything for these sets, because this set came right at the middle, or right in the middle of the 2020 to modern day Pokemon boom. Immediately became the darling set. People are still going crazy over these sets. I mean, a pack is like $20 just for a pack. It's insane. Probably actually even more. I don't know. Maybe it's more. Is it more now? It's probably more. What were the key cards? Well, obviously the Moonbreon. If you love Eevee and its evolutions, then this set was for you. It's like Prismatic Evolution, but for the Sword and Shield era, and it's about as brutal as Prismatic Evolution. Now, to be fair, I don't love Prismatic Evolution, but I do like Evolving Skies. I like it. I'm being told I have to like it. You have to like it. It's Evolving Skies. You have to like it. And while this set showed us what modern hype looks like, the next set takes us back in time again, all the way back to 1999 when things are happening, and just shows that Pokemon was not a one-hit wonder. Number 5, Jungle. This was the first expansion after the original base set. Again, I remember when this set came out, it was so cool. I'm at Christmas right now. In my mind, I'm thinking about it. Opening a Jungle pack for Christmas. It's great. I wish I were there now. It's great. Just picture this. You've just finished your binder of base set. You've got 102 Pokemon cards in your binder, and you're flexing it on the playground, and then BAM! Timmy comes out of nowhere with this new pack of Jungle. You've no longer caught them all. You were able to flex that, but no longer. What? What's crazy to remember is that in the first base set, they didn't have all 151 Pokemon. So Jungle was the first set to introduce some of the favorites that we have today, like Snorlax, Scyther, Vileplume, Eevee, a lot of greats. It's funny to remember or to think back that they weren't actually in base set. But overall, the real star of Jungle is definitely Snorlax. Some other notable cards were the Scyther card, which was like the cool kid card. Everybody wanted this card. It was cool. I mean, look at those. Look at those swords for hands. Look at them. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I think it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Also, there was Wigglytuff. Okay, that's not as cool, but let's give it some love. Let's give it some love. We'll give it some love. Somebody likes it. Spam in the comments, we love Wigglytuff. Just spam it. Even if you don't like it, spam it. We love Wigglytuff. Fun fact, Jungle was also the first set to include multiple variations of a card. Like you could have a holo and a non-holo card. And I mentioned this earlier with the Rocket set. This was very confusing for little 8, 9-year-olds on the playground. Yeah, there were fights. Not for me, though. I didn't fight. No. Not me. No. Yeah, so Jungle wasn't flashy or absolutely brilliant, but it was historic. It showed that Pokemon was here to stay, showed that new expansions would actually sell and kids would continue for years and years and years and years to obsess over these little pocket monsters. And if you missed the first wave of the Pokemon era, this next set gave you a chance to give you your first Charizard. Number 4 on the set list is base set number 2, which was weird. Yeah, I think they could have done things differently, but they reprinted base set basically and then added in a few extra cards. That was cool. It was confusing and a little disappointing whenever you pull a Charizard, but it had that little 2 in the corner instead of nothing. It's still worth a lot now, but not as much. No, it's still cool. I'd still have one. I don't have one. And maybe that's why I'm bitter. Life goes on. It basically mashed base set and Jungle into one product. Basically, now you had a chance to pick all the great holos out. You could have Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Snorlax, Scyther, all the good ones. So yeah, this was actually a really fun set. I digress. Base set 2 actually came out at a good time for the people who had seen the Pokemania go crazy, but they had a little bit of FOMO because they totally missed out when Pokemon was first released. Well, base set 2 gave them the opportunity to kind of catch up with the cards that were already released. So that was great. I mean, you would see kids at Toys R Us no matter what set was out, so it was fantastic. Kind of a fun fact, if you will. It's not fun, it's just a fact. Well, a fact, if you will, is base set was printed so much that early collectors started to kind of pass on it. So finding a mint condition from this set is actually kind of hard because most of these cards lived their days in 3-ring binders, which are terrible for collectors now. We all had one. We did. They're terrible. Don't do it anymore. Anyways, so they all lived in the 3-ring binders back then, and yeah, they got kind of beat up. And so finding a really good condition base set 2 Charizard is actually pretty hard. Yeah, so base set 2 doesn't get a lot of love, especially in the shadow of base set, but it introduced a whole new wave of kids to Pokemon and gave them an opportunity to catch up and get the cards that they missed out on earlier in the release of Pokemon. This next set on the list was another early set that introduced one of the most iconic types of Pokemon for collectors today. Number 3, Neo Destiny. Can you take a guess at what kind of Pokemon was released in this set that collectors still go absolutely crazy over today? Did you guess it? Well, I'm gonna tell you in a bit. Shining Pokemon. Shiny Pokemon, yeah. Pokemon that are shiny Pokemon. To be fair, it didn't actually introduce Shining Pokemon. That was Neo Revelation with Shiny Magikarp and Gyarados. Fantastic cards, by the way. I'd like to have one of those. Can we find one? No, I don't have one for that. Not right now. Anyways, Neo Destiny brought in even more Shining Pokemon and made collectors go crazy over these things. You had Shining Charizard, Mewtwo, Celebi, and basically anytime a Charizard is something, then people are gonna go wild for it. I mean, look at this Phantasmal Flames Charizard. It's crazy. It's gonna get crazy. Anyways, these Shining Pokemon were absolutely mythical. Pulling one was like unlocking a secret level in a video game or something, which is a big deal as an 8-year-old in the 90s and 2000s. There used to be secret levels. You didn't just always play online video games. Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. By the time Neo Destiny came out, the fanatics The craziness of Pokemon was starting to fade a little bit, and so a lot of collectors were moving on from the hobby and totally missed out on the shining Pokemon. That was me. I moved on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Like a chump. You can play both. You don't have to drop one for the other. You can play both games, but I did not. I dropped Pokemon like a lot of people and totally missed out on the shining Pokemon. Is there a tear coming down my eye? Did I edit that in? I feel like there should be. Key cards to know, obviously the Shining Charizard, you've got a Raichu, you've got the Shining Mewtwo. These things were absolutely fantastic, still are if you could find them. I wish I had them. I'm not bitter, guys. I'm not bitter. Not bitter. Only person I can be bitter towards is myself. Pity party. Fun fact time. Neo Destiny was the last set of the Neo block. Up next were the e-reader cards, and now that I'm thinking about the e-reader cards, I'm kind of glad that I got out of the hobby when I did, because these cards, in my opinion, look stupid. I know they're worth a lot and there's like collector value there, but yeah, the big stripe on the side, the offset of the card, it looks weird. Come on, you got it right. It looks weird, right? Weird. There's not anybody over there. I just keep looking. I'm alone in this house. Yeah. Number 2 on the list is number 1 in the entire set's history. Base set. It's base set from 1999. This is where it started. It's great. This was what started Costco fights. Not back then, but everything leads up to now, and this set is where it started. The 102 cards that are inside this set launched an entire cultural movement that still is going on today. Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Pikachu. People who have never even touched a Pokemon card in their entire life, they know these names. When this game was introduced, base set came out, kids were trading cards on the playground like it's Wall Street. It got so wild, and I mentioned this earlier, it got so wild that cards were banned from schools. Like, I remember that. I remember having to sneak cards in like contraband in order to trade with your friends. It was crazy. It was much bigger than a card game. For many of us, this was a childhood obsession. And of course, the chase card, Mac Daddy of them all, Charizard, duh. Everybody knows this card. If you had this card, you were the king or queen of the playground. It was nuts now thinking about it that parents would even let us walk out of the house with that card. Of course, they didn't know what this whole Pokemon thing would turn into, but the fact that we had these cards in sandboxes and just throwing them down, wow, you really don't know what you have, do you? Do you, Chris? What's interesting about base set, or maybe it's a fun fact, is that it had multiple print runs of different variations that at the time nobody really thought about except for maybe adults. I was a kid then, didn't know this. But you had base set Unlimited, which was what most people had. You had Shadowless, which was only distinguishable from Unlimited because the border around the image didn't have a shadow. And you also had first edition cards. I wish they'd bring back first edition cards. Those were pretty cool. But some of these, like first edition Charizard, sells for hundreds of thousands of dollars in a PSA 10. That is insane. Again, we were playing with these on the playground. Who let us do that? Who? You know those jokes where it's like, what was I doing playing on the playground? I should have been investing in a home. Well, if I had that Charizard still, I probably would have been able to invest in a home much earlier than I did. So that's wild. The jokes are valid. Man, base set wasn't just about money though. We all remember it. It is the purest form of nostalgia for any Pokemon collector. Base set was awesome. It is awesome. I can't wait to eventually get my hands on a base set pack. Once again, the smell of nostalgia is real. But alas, base set is not the number 1 set on this list. That is reserved for a set that is even more beautiful, sought after, and maybe even unheard of for some of you newer beginners. Released in May of 2003, considered one of the most beautiful sets of Pokemon cards ever, we have Skyridge. This was the last set that Wizards of the Coast made for the Pokemon TCG before Pokemon took over itself. So right away, naturally, that gives it that final chapter energy. You know, Wizards really wanted to put their in-stamp mark on the set. And they did. They definitely did. This set came at a time when most kids had moved on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Like myself. And the hype was gone, the print runs were little. So as far as a set that's destined to be highly sought after for collectors, it came at the perfect time. Skyridge introduced Crystal Pokemon. Crystal Charizard, Crystal Celebi. Yeah, these cards are magnificent. And pulling one was an absolute miracle, but they're so amazing. The artwork in this set across the board, next level, top notch, top notch. You got Umbreon in the forest, Gengar lurking in the shadows, like a Gengar gonna do. Some people call Skyridge the high point of Pokemon art, and that's for good reason. But here's where it gets crazy. Because Skyridge was released when not a lot of people were collecting anymore, the product wasn't really bought a lot, and print runs were really little. So to find a sealed product from Skyridge, it's gonna cost you a lot. And going back to what I said earlier, the e-readers looking dumb, this set could make me a believer, for sure. It used the e-readers while still looking like pristine artworks. So Skyridge was the curtain call for Wizards of the Coast. Almost like a beautiful, bittersweet farewell. And quite frankly, that's why it's number 1 on this list. All right, that's my list. Top 10 sets of Pokemon ever. I'd like to hear from you now. Do you agree with this list? Are there some sets that you would add in, remove, switch around? Let me know down in the comments. And if you're interested in learning more about collecting, then please subscribe and watch this video right here because it'll help. Pretty sure it'll help. Nah, it'll help. It'll help. Yeah, it'll help.